Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jet Boardman, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind successful startups, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future expansion. Today, we're excited to have Danish Ejaz, the co-founder of Bold Hive, joining us. Danish will be sharing more about his founding story and giving us a glimpse into the plans for the future growth. So let's jump right in. Danish, happy to have you here. Welcome to Founders Future.
Hi, Jack. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, great to have you on. So let's just kind of go straight to the beginning here. Starting from the beginning with Bold Hive, what gap or frustration in the market or in the marketing world inspired you to launch Bold Hive?
I think the most important thing that I will say is the three pillars of Bold Hive that we've created. We are the only agency with one of the co-founders uh, who has purely brand experience. He is the former head of General Mills, and he was the regional head of General Mills and handling the brand innovation. The second pillar is pure sales. Abbas has been a very critical entity, and he has been focused on the sales and the P&L side of the business side. And then comes myself, where I've been focused on the creative and advertising side of the work. So the combination of Bold Hive is powerful enough for any brand to understand that we are not just a creative agency. We are the people who will come, who will understand your business, will understand your sales and distribution network, and will work that it's not just a creative solution, but also giving you the realistic number-based approach as well at the end of the day in terms of sales. That's the powerful vision that we have at Bold Hive.
That's incredible. So bringing in not only just the agency side, but also incredible branding and being able to get the right message across. That's awesome. Well, as a relatively newer agency, how has Bold
It
Hive's
is.
offer evolved over the past 3 years?
Oh, no. So Bold Hive is a year old. It's not 3 years old. So that's relatively very new. So far, what the sort of the work that we are trying to build is to focus more on family-oriented businesses in order to make sure that their credibility, their history, their heritage, it's there, but enhancing the overall imagery of the brand in order to make sure that now they see that the modernized side of the world as well, which somehow it's becoming a bit of a distance for them. So yes, the rooted, the family-oriented businesses have a very powerful product with 80 years of experience in brand development. But in terms of advertising, they start lacking things up, and that is why their overall sales and distribution starts becoming slower. So the idea was to focus on those clients first, build case studies, and then go and then become extremely aggressive in marketing and business development and everything. So that's the overall growing approach that we have at this point in time.
Got it. So it's been one of those things that you've developed as you've grown, focusing on one certain niche, if you will, to start out, and then using that to expand as you build up the credibility.
Absolutely.
Got it. Got it. Okay, great. Well, kind of, before Bold Hive, what experiences shaped your approach to entrepreneurship and marketing? Did it come from an agency background, a startup, or somewhere else entirely?
Well, okay, so my overall personality is a very rebellious kind of personality. So I graduated in information technology, and I was a hardcore software developer. And then one fine day, I decided this is not something that I will do. And I got up and I very overconfidently went to an advertising agency. I went to Gray, Pakistan, and I gave my interview. Luckily, I got selected, but they gave me certain challenges. I completed those challenges within the deadlines that they gave me, and from there, my advertising career started. It's been 20 years. I've handled certain global regional clients that gave me a lot of challenging environment. Have studied multiple consumer markets, including Middle East, including Singapore, including African market, including South African market, and of course the British market and American market. So there's a lot of learning that was there, which brought me towards the point that I should start focusing on something that I can add a value towards the client in a very different environment. because I mean, no offense to any agency, they're amazing. They've been doing amazing work, but most of the organization try to play very safe. And the madness and the boldness that I have, I try to utilize that and try to create something out of it. Yes, there are times that you might find that one communication quite controversial, but one, is it resonating with the brands? And number two, it's not offensive. You create some chaos in order to bring some creativity. That was the focus, and that's what I'm trying to do at this point of time. Through advertising in the Asian region, where, of course, the name says it all, that it's advertising, adding madness in advertising, and then being bold in Canada. So these are the two very simple things, and that's how I introduce myself. That hey, my name is Danish. I'm bold and mad.
Well, can you give us a little insight as to what being bold and mad in marketing looks like? You said, the communication style is a little bit different. What does that kind of translate into? Give us some examples.
Uh, See, in our earlier days, I love Ogilvy's learnings and trainings, and I was fortunate enough to work in a market where in Ogilvy I was fortunate enough to work in a market where I could understand not just the local clients with their needs, but also handle the regional level communication. When I started working on such regional level communication, I realized that in every country, there's a certain level of safety net that a brand manager keeps, which
Mm,
is fine, which is good enough. But at certain duration, there are some bold ideas that are just shut down because of the fact that they are not safe enough. So that is the point where we started coming up with different kind of philosophies where we can push the client for certain actions, not entirely, not going completely off the brand personality or personification, but to push them in order to get the attention in a fun, perky way, in a very, I mean, other than being offensive, what other ways that we could utilize in order to make sure that we get the attention of our customer. So
mm.
that's the approach that we started working on. So that
Okay. So goal is not to be offensive, but walk that line, it sounds like a little bit.
it's very tricky at times. It's very tricky, yeah, because so our co-founder, on the other hand, I call it the founder, Sajad. We've kept Sajad on this sanity check because he has the brand experience and he has done some really, really powerful initiatives in the market like Saudi Arabia and Middle East. So when we sit down with him and Abbas and I, when we throw the ideas towards Sajad, he's the sanity check at the end of the day. And he will like, no, 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 this is too off. No, 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 this is too offensive. It may go over there. And Abbas and I, then we start bullying Sajad. But at the end of the day, we understand that, Sajad has that capacity and he will filter things out. But he will also look at us and he will understand the chaos that we are trying to create. So he will mellow it down in a way that it's still a bit of chaotic, but it's also resonating with the brand as well. So I think that's the biggest mix, the most powerful mix that we can get.
Got it. Got it. Great. Well, I mean, starting an agency is tough, right? I mean, did you ever hit a moment where you thought this might not work? And if so, what kept you going?
The recent political issues in Canada that brought us down on a level when we actually thought whether we should continue this work. But I believe the motivation starts when we see something that is something that we've done already, and that when we see that in public and appreciation, the level of appreciation comes out of. I think that's the most motivating factor for us, that people understand the chaos, they appreciate what we are doing. So that's the biggest motivational factor for us.
Mm,
So
okay.
it keeps us going.
So there is a mission that's driving you forward with everything you're doing.
Absolutely. See, how do I put it? So the idea is how simple you can be, but also how crazy element you can put. Because we, as human beings, the biggest problem with us is that when we try to simplify things, we actually make it more complicated.
Mm,
So that cycle of I'm going to add another step in order to make this process simple, and then I'll add another step, and then I'll add another step, and suddenly it's a process of multiple steps, and it's too complicated for a human being to handle. Similarly, this is the same thing that we have done in cultures. So, for example, now in any first world countries, anywhere in Europe, in the United States, in Canada, in Asia, even, you can't simply say that, hey, this is the country with just one ethnicity or one culture or one religion or one focus on one area for one people, area for one country or a city or a place. So in that homogenized environment, number one, what sort of culture are you going to promote? Number two, how you're going to make sure that you're talking to everyone, because at the end of the day, we are not. So that's something. That's a crazy project that we have. Siddharth and I, we talk a lot about it. Is how to bring a homogeneous cultural path for a brand that can celebrate every ethnicity or every religion by not destroying their own brand equity or brand personality at the end of the day.
Got it. Got it. Well, that's great. I mean, that's a great mission. I mean, with that being said, marketing is a crowded space. So, what's one misconception people have about what it takes to succeed in this industry that you'd like to set straight?
Takes to succeed. There are multiple factors. I can't say one. So I'll say being crazy. That's one very, very important step. Yes, a lot of people are not working on it. Yes, a lot of people try to play safe, and that is also working for them as well. But I personally think a bit of craziness is needed. And that's why I come back again and again to boldness and madness, because it is the criteria. I started a very humble initiative at advertising back in 2018, when it was just one table, one seat initiative. And now I'm sitting and working in working for 7 countries. And, we've been working on Bold Hive as well. So that speaks a lot when you talk about madness. And knowing that we were in COVID for a year and a half, when the unfortunate scenario of understanding how the whole world is going to work out, and the marketing was also reevaluated of how things are going to be managed at that point of time. And then, inclusion of AI, the new threat to advertising creativity, as I say it, is there as well. And that's something that we have to be looking at.
Got it. Got it. Okay, great. Well, let's jump into Bold Hive specifically and kind of what's going on with there. So can you walk us through how Bold Hive, generates revenue? What's your core service, and how do you decide, who to deliver it to and how much to deliver it for?
So of course, the core service is, yes, advertising, the creative services. Then we also consult on P&L and the creative and digital services. This is the core, and brand consultation. These are the factors we look into. And the reason we started working with the family-oriented businesses is because, as much as they have a powerful heritage and the most powerful product, their communication, the promotion and placement is weak. That is where we come in, we play, and we try to win the client with that kind of environment. So that is the overall strategy, putting very simply in front of you.
Got it. Okay. And how are you finding and winning clients right now? Are you leading on digital channels, referrals, something bold and unconventional? What's like the true Bold Hive approach?
Well, it's a mix. We are talking to a couple of people in person. We are trying to do the business development as well. We are talking to through references. We are talking to clients through references as well. At this point of time, these are the 3 things. And references are the most powerful thing at this point of time, which is working, because the first thing that we require is for them to listen to us and who we are and what we do. And references works most of the time.
Got it. Okay, so references is what you're leaning on heavily right now. At what point do you feel you'll have to switch away from references? I mean, most agencies get to that point where it's like, okay, time to go big or go home.
I think the first 2 years of any organization, they require references, and after the first 2 years, when people start looking at their work, then that is the time when people start coming to them directly as well. This is the same journey I've seen in advertising. This is the same journey that I hope that we are going to have it in Bold Hive as well.
Right. Okay. And just for anybody listening, I mean, what's the journey that a client goes through to become one of your clients, right? From first outreach to signing the deal. What's kind of the how do you balance the creativity in closing?
Okay, since we offer multiple verticals, let me just simplify it. So the first thing is, of course, us telling them that this is what we understand out of your product. This is what we understand out of your distribution, and this is what we understand out of your communication. And then we sit down with them and we tell them that this is you right now at this stage, and this is we show them another bar where we show them that this is the capability that your brand has, and how are we going to put your brand on that level is by doing a mix of these particular activities. Now, this can be fixing the distribution system. This is fixing the product placement on the retail area, or it can be branding your outlets properly, or it can be proper communication, or it can be proper brand consultation. So the whole mix, then it will be given to the client. If the client agrees, then not the idea, and then it goes towards it.
Okay, so very customized approach, but all collaborative with the client. This is what we think you should do.
It has to be.
Going
It
back and
has
forth.
to be.
Great.
See, like I said, any country that we can pick it up right now, focusing on Canada at this point of time, or even in the US, you have to be custom oriented for every client. You have to think customized for the client, because number one, either you're talking about the province, or you're talking about the state, or you're talking about the city. There are multiple cultures. There are multiple people have multiple level of understanding. You will find different people in Ontario. You will find different level of people in Saskatoon, and for that kind of environment, you have to make sure that you are talking to everyone properly.
Mhm.
So you can't just have a one big idea and just throw everything as the client. You have to keep the soul of the brand intact, but you have to change the messaging for everyone that resonates with the overall brand personality, and then take them further.
Right. And keeping the soul of the brand is important, right? That's the thing I think a lot of people miss.
That's the core. Yes,
Yeah, it
that's the core.
can't be a cookie cutter. This is what we do for everyone type approach.
No, it's purely integrated approach.
Right. Right. Well, as a young agency with a small team, if you will, what do you feel like your biggest bottleneck to growth is right now? Is it having more leads? Is it converting them? Is it delivery? What do you feel like is your bottleneck?
Right now, the bottleneck is, I think, generating leads, because the problem is with the small team, when you go and you start presenting, they don't look at the background most of the time. They just see three people.
Mm,
Not just three people. Then there's a team of designers and animators and web developers. They're also sitting at the back end office, but they don't look at the combined experience of the three founders, the way the diversity that we're bringing in. And it's not just and Canada thrives on cultural diversity, and unfortunately, that is something that people at times do not realize, that cultural diversity is integral for Canada as well.
got it.
That's something that we listen at times. Uh, I believe this is not as per Canadian culture. Canadian culture is diversity. It's everything is about Canadian culture, about that. So that's
Right.
that's one of the things.
Right. Okay. So really just kind of cutting through the noise, it almost sounds like, and establishing that you can fulfill on what you're looking to fulfill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, if you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing to supercharge Bold Hive's growth, what would it be and why?
internally.
Anywhere. Magic wand, you get any solution.
Okay, for the clients, I think it's a better understanding of how creative or the advertising agencies work. Or internally, then of course, I would like to have one impeccable team that can create one powerful content, because all three of us believe in the power of content, and that's the soul that we have looking to. So these are the two sides. For the client side, having a better understanding of how the organization works, and for us is creating as much powerful content as possible.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, kind of stepping forward into your vision and growth and strategy, right? If you're looking ahead, what are your top priorities for Bold Hive in the next 6 to 12 months?
Right now, of course, to bring as much business as possible. That's the very very critical priority. And the other priority is that I'm not willing to focus on just one vertical. Yes, it's going to give me a good edge, but having clients from multiple verticals will actually enable me for the other businesses to understand that we are not just expert on one side. We are capable of handling multiple clients in the multiple fields. That is something really important now, because I see a lot of organizations are trying to connect with niches only, and that's where they focus in. But the problem is, you don't get the creativity out if you're focused on one thing only most of the time. You need to have multiple flavors of different clients so that you can understand. You can play around at different levels, and you can come up with something else for some other client at the end of the day. This has helped me grow in the past 20 years in advertising, and I personally think it's very critical.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, when you're talking about, these goals that you are chasing, what do you feel like is the key driver in these goals? Is it new service? Is it standout campaigns? What's going to really get you there to those goals?
I think the first thing is the campaigns. They're going to talk about us. And of course, offering the new services, coming up with new products. This is something that we are working on. We've launched a product called Social Pulse. This does a very detailed social media audit for the clients that helps them understand where exactly are they having problem. So this is something that we can focus on both, giving clients some strategic products that can enable them for marketing intelligence, and then of course coming up with a better content at the end.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, marketing is always evolving, right? Maybe with like
Yes.
AI, new platforms. Where do you see the industry heading, and how is Bold Hive staying ahead of the curve?
This is something that we are, this is right now, you can say that this is one of the problems, but we are trying to bring it as the tools that we have. Intelligence. Although, yeah, I understand that there are quite a lot of content related tools or design related tools that AI is offering, and they're making individuals do something that an agency does. But the problem is, not everybody is going to sit and talk about brand value. Not everybody is going to sit and talk about how their P&L is going to be fixed. Not everyone is going to sit and talk about the business objective. Everybody's focused on creative and content as well. AI at this point of time is a good facilitator, but it's been observed as people are thinking that it will replace it. No, it will actually strengthen advertising more. Unfortunately, the catchy lines, AI replacing human beings. These are the catchy phrases that media is using. But it's more important for an advertising agency to enable themselves how they're going to use these tools as the weapons in order to develop better communication for the client. The problem that I see in this whole scenario is that if one production, which was taking, let's say, around X number of money, now it will be probably 30% of that X number of money. It will be less. So the overall revenue is going to be low. So we have to come up with smarter ways of doing things. That's what creativity and advertising is. Mind you, it's the second profession in the world.
Right. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So as you look ahead, I mean, what things do you feel like you're going to be implementing yourselves to make sure you stay ahead of the curve?
We are working on understanding the utilization of artificial intelligence in terms of creating better content, but not in terms of utilizing it in a way that it can cause some problems. So I saw a very, very beautiful ad done by, I believe this was Fiverr who did an ad, and how they came up with the whole AI equipment, and then they created an ad out of it. So that is something that we believe that if we can create a compelling story, we can utilize AI as a tool that will enable us to generate the required tool rather than shooting them, and then helping us come up with something interesting. So that is how we see the amalgamation of it. Content side, yes, the LLM based softwares are good, but still they cannot beat the human creativity at the end of the day.
Right. Right. And it's funny you mentioned that. I saw an ad the other day for I think it was a med spa, and they used AI, and all the people in the picture had messed up faces because it's just not quite there on the generation, right? So
absolutely.
Same thing.
Not just that, at certain point of time, even though you give a very detailed prompt, AI will mess it up. So it's not that it's not capable. It will take some time, But till that time, we are still going to utilize them as tools. They're not going to replace it.
Right. Right. I've heard a lot of people talk about it as a supplement to the business, not a replacement for the business,
Yeah.
which I think is
See, I'm one of those who were there when the conventional advertising was working in. Everybody was talking about how digital advertising is going to completely destroy conventional media. But still, if you look at the US, the biggest budget goes to SNL at the end of the day. And it's still quite huge because celebrities are there, people are coming in, the games are going on. When there's so much going on in that direction, people, yes, they prefer watching pay per view at the end of the day because it's convenient.
right.
But people are also getting rid of advertising platforms on digital platforms. So Netflix doesn't have the advertising capability, and you are paying Netflix for not having advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, now Facebook has in Europe, Facebook is coming up with a model in which they're going to ask you if you are using Facebook for free, you will see the ads. If you're not using Facebook for free and there's certain fee that you're paying, you will not see ads.
Mm-hmm.
So in that kind of scenario, then how will you talk to your customers?
Right.
There, for me, that is the bigger threat at this point of time, rather than looking at AI. If
It
I'm
is,
not allowed,
yeah, it's not being able to advertise all the things you do.
yes, for
Yeah.
me that's the biggest threat, and people are not talking about it. That's my worry point at the end of the day.
Right. Right. Well, that's a great point to bring up, especially for a lot of people who are running marketing businesses, right? I think there's a little bit of fear with AI, so it's a good to have that
Yeah,
perspective. Good to have that perspective. All right, well, let's jump into some rapid fire questions here. We got three of them back
please.
to back, and this is kind of your spot to leave a mark on the listeners. So, number one, what's one tool or resource that's been a game changer for Bold Hive's operations and or client results? AI could be one of them, but what's like the one tool or resource you'd recommend?
Uh, right now, I'll be honest, people. Creativity is not cannot be replaced with people. I mean, the creativity of people, you cannot replace it. If you can utilize your people in the best way that and let them. I mean, I have a very crude way of saying things, so please apologize in the beginning.
You're open
Uh,
mic, man.
no, no, no. So, like for example, I tell my team to curse. I tell my team to say dirty things because open, say it. Don't keep anything in yourself. Say
Uh-huh.
it out loud. Be corny. Be lame. Be stupid. Be idiot. There's nothing stupid or idiot, and you don't know when you will pick up something amazing out of something which was very lame.
Right.
Even though it might be negative, but you will say, "Hey, I don't like it," but hey, I can connect it with this. This is how we've come up with campaigns most of the time.
Right. So it's just letting it be natural. Whatever you have to say it.
Yes, natural. Thank
Yeah.
you for putting the word here. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
great.
word.
Great. I love that. All right, second one here. What's the best advice you've received about scaling a business that you still lean on today?
Don't be afraid.
You're gonna have to give us a little bit more on that one.
Fear is okay. Fear is natural. And if you don't have fear, then you're not a human being. So fear is okay.
That,
Accept it, learn from it, and do the impossible.
I love it. All right, last one here, and this is for you to kind of leave your mark with the listeners. For founders who are just starting out, especially in a competitive field like marketing, what's one piece of advice you'd give them to stay motivated and succeed?
Learn as much as about the brand and the customer. Don't focus on content. Content will automatically come when you know about customer.
So
And
focus on the
if you
customer.
understand, focus on the customer, understand the business because it's all about what customer wants and how businesses are offering it. So if you know both of them, then you will be then the tools, then AI, nothing matters at the end of the day. And that is what we lack mostly. Everybody just stand up say, hey, come up with a tool. We are going towards what's that word? Monotonous. We're going towards monotonous communication because of that. So focus on your customer, focus on your business, and you
I
will
love
get the
that.
results automatically.
I love that. It's a great place for us to wrap up here. And so we'll do that there. This will wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. I want to thank Danish for sharing his incredible journey and insights with us today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their sales and marketing efforts through world-class sales systems and playbooks. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.